Welcome to Our Jewish Roots, with insightful Bible teaching by Dr. Jeffrey Seif. This week we begin our documentary mini-series, Jehovah's Treasure, the quest for the Ark of the Covenant and temple treasures.
In a remote tunnel, deep within the Judean desert, an unsolved mystery of a priceless treasure. It started with Abraham, was assembled by Moses, enshrined by King Solomon. Its fame would summon kings and beckon pharaohs. Its glory ravage foreign gods. What was the source of this might? Is history about to unleash its desert secrets? The quest for the temple treasures and the Ark of the Covenant. Jehovah's Treasure.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I am David Hart.
I'm Kirsten Hart.
And I am Jeffrey Seif. And have you ever heard of Indiana Jones? Well, that's kind of sort of what this is all about. We're going for treasures, but it ain't a movie. We're going to take you to the real place in search of Jehovah's treasures. Fascinating, yes?
It is.
It is
We're
so
so excited for the series. I mean, it's going to be 3 programs. It's a special little mini series that we have all about the temple treasures and the Ark.
The real deal.
It is. Right now we begin at a dig near Qumran, east of Jerusalem, near the Jordan River. Let's go there now.
The Judean desert in central Israel, ever changing, ever the same, timeless. Archaeologist Oren Gutfeld has come here to unravel an enigma that has the archaeological community puzzled. Between 1947 and 1956, the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered nearby in the caves of Qumran. One particular scroll hints that there are temple treasures buried within close proximity to this desert road.
We are at Nahal Sechacha, Shadow Valley, under the fortress of Horkania, fortress that was built by the Hasmonean and rebuilt by Herod the Great in the end of the 2nd century BCE and in the 1st century BCE. And we are digging actually 2 tunnels, very, very interesting tunnels that we are digging for a few years now.
Rising high above Gutfeld's tunnels are the rocky slopes of Mount Harkania. Atop the mountain rests the remains of a stone fortress, one of 7 such strongholds built in the 1st and 2nd century BC. It was a setting fit for a king, complete with an aqueduct, a swimming pool, and fresh water which flowed from a spring located 10 miles away in the holy city of Jerusalem.
I'm up on the Mount of Olives, and below me is the Temple Mount.
Author, journalist David Dolan moved to Jerusalem in 1980.
The Saudi Arabian government is spending over $1 million putting on a new gold top on the Dome of the Rock shrine behind me.
He resides within close proximity to the walls of the old city and reports regularly on the events of the region. Unrest in the area has been a frequent reality, but for David, the opportunity of living in this ancient holy city has been reward enough.
Jerusalem, a place that conjures up thoughts and emotions of biblical proportions, and its very heart is located right behind me. There is perhaps no other site on earth that is any more holy or any more fought over. It's referred to early in the Bible as Mount Moriah, and later came to be called the Temple Mount. Topographically, it's not much of a mount, but the accounts of what happened here are more than monumental. We're told that at one point in time, the Lord God, Jehovah, chose this little tract of land to be his very residence on planet Earth. The temple built to honor him contained priceless artifacts used in worship, a veritable treasure house of gold and silver. And central to it all was the most holy object the world has ever known, the Ark of the Covenant. This is the account of that priceless treasure, how it wound up here in Jerusalem, and its enduring significance in the 21st century.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Make an ark of wood, overlay it with pure gold. Make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make 4 rings of gold and staves and 2 cherubim. And I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubim, of all the things that I will give thee unto the children of Israel.
Thank you for sending us all over the Bible world. We take you to great places, you get to see it, and we bring experts. David Dolan, a former CBS reporter, expert on things Middle East. Happy to bring him to you now.
According to the biblical text, the story of a covenant with the children of Israel begins long before Moses. Early in the book of Genesis, the Bible tells us of a long journey made by Abraham and his wife Sarah. Reaching a foreign land named Canaan, God reveals his plan for an extensive nation to originate with Abraham's seed.
And the Lord said to Abram, Look now toward heaven and count the stars, if thou be able to count them. So shall thy seed be. I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give this land to inherit it.
6 centuries pass. Then one day, the voice of God would be heard again.
Moshe.
While attending sheep, Moses would hear a voice from a burning bush.
Moses, come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And this is my memorial unto all generations.
It would take time and God's orchestration of 10 dreadful plagues before Pharaoh's heart would be softened. Ultimately, the 10th plague calls for the death of every firstborn child in Egypt. However, God informs the Israelites that their children will be spared if the blood of a sacrificial lamb is spread upon their doorposts. For the Egyptians, it proves to be the fatal blow. Pharaoh is crushed, the Israelites are freed, and the ordinance of Passover established forever.
אמור מעתה במצרים לקחו 40 מכות ועל הים לקחו 200 מכות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. אמן. ברוך אתה הלילה זה כולו מערוב. הלילה זה כולו מצה. שבכל הלילות.
And it came to pass at the end of 430 years, that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children.
Up until this time, all of God's covenants have been verbal. He's promised, for instance, that there would never again be a flood like the one endured by Noah and his family. He's made a verbal pact with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. However, it's during this wilderness experience that the Israelites would receive their first physical manifestation of God's covenant. The 10 Commandments, written on tablets of stone that would ultimately be placed in the Ark of the Covenant.
In the 4th century A.D., the Byzantines designated a mountain in the southern part of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula as the Mount Sinai. The designation of Jabal Musa, often referred to as St. Catherine's, has been largely unquestioned until recently. American adventurers Larry Williams and Bob Cornuke now claim that Jabal Allah's in northwestern Saudi Arabia is the site where Moses received the 10 Commandments. Still others believe that Ar-Karkom in Israel's Negev desert is a more likely site. There is in fact substantial archaeological and topographical evidence to support the case. Italian professor Emanuele Anati.
Well, I arrived to the site by pure mistake. I fell in love with this mountain because of the landscape, of the rock art, of the monuments. It was clear from the very beginning that this is a holy mountain. So we went on and on for 4 years doing research on this mountain before we even started thinking about this mountain.
Anati is professor of paleoethnology and is renowned for his expertise in ancient rock art. Shakar Shiloh has accompanied Anati on numerous excavations at Karkom.
We have to remember that this place is located very close to Wadi Paran. The ancient biblical Wadi Paran is suggested to be one of the routes possible for a huge number of people to go from Egypt, northern parts, all the way through the Sinai desert, through the Negev, and of course to the promised land of Canaan. As it mentioned here in the book of Exodus, it says, and I'll read it in Hebrew, Moshe haya ro'eh et tzon yitro chotno kohen Midian. Moses was walking with the flock of Jethro, the high priest of Midian, וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר, ויבוא אל הר האלוהים חורבה. And he went to Horeb, the mountain of God, towards the desert.
As the children of Israel journey through the wilderness, they are encountered by nomadic desert tribes, the Amalekites, Amorites, and Midianites. The central mountain in proximity to these tribal enemies are Karkom.
It's a holy mountain full of rock art which has similarities with the biblical accounts, with shrines, holy places all over the plateau, and over 120 temporary villages at the foot of the mountain. Now I must put it clear that to me this mountain corresponds to the biblical description of Mount Sinai.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and he rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
Today, 12 pillars of stone stand in close proximity to Ar-Karkom, and adjacent to the stones, the remains of what could very well have been an altar. And the children of Israel sacrificed peace offerings, and Moses took the sacrificial blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
If you only watch us on television, you are missing additional content available only on our social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can always visit our website, which is home base for all of our ministry activities and information. There you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter, watch the TV program, or visit the online store. Join us as we tour Israel and Petra. Please contact us for more information. We would love to hear from you. Please join us on a life-changing tour to Israel. We go both in the spring and the fall. You can find all of the information on levitt.com. Now let's return to Jehovah's treasure. After the Lord gave the 10 Commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave specific instructions on how they were to be stored. David Dolan continues our story.
It wasn't enough that this covenant was inscribed in stone. In order to ensure that it endured for many generations, Moses was next told that the tablet should be placed in a special chest. In Hebrew, the word is aron. Our English translation, through the Latin word arca, is ark. God made it very clear to Moses just how he wanted this holy treasure constructed.
And they shall make an ark of acacia wood. Acacia trees grow in Sinai's desert plains, and although the wood is lightweight, it is hard and extremely durable. The framework of the Holy Ark will be fashioned on this very wood. Bezaleel is the craftsman. His assistant is Aholiab. And Bezaleel overlaid the ark with pure gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, to be set by the 4 corners of it. And he made staves, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold. And the cherubim spread out their wings on high, and covered with their wings over the mercy seat. And Moses commanded the Levites, "Take this book of the law, and put it inside the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God."
You might wonder, where did all of that gold come from? After all, the children of Israel had been slaves in Egypt for over 400 years. Well, the Bible says that after a period of time, the Egyptians were convinced that Moses was right. These Hebrew slaves actually were chosen by their God. Fearful of more death and additional plagues, the Egyptians gladly offered to send the Israelites on their way, granting them as much gold and silver jewelry as they desired. In addition to the ark, there would be other articles fashioned of gold, silver, and brass, all to be utilized in worship while in the desert and after they ultimately arrived in Canaan. The total amount of gold collected from the Israelites amounted to over 1 ton, of silver 3 3/4 tons, and of bronze 2.5 tons.
Here, along the northwest shore of the Dead Sea, more than 800 biblical and early Jewish documents have been found in the caves of Qumran. The landscape here is pockmarked with numerous caves, one of which, in 1952, produced a scroll unlike any other that had ever been found. Lying against the wall of cave number 3 was an extraordinary copper scroll, broken in 2, its pieces wedged one on top of the other. The find became headline news. Hoards of fabulous value were waiting to be found. After a meticulous procedure of cutting the copper into 23 sections, scholars determined that it listed 63 hidden treasures, some buried in Jerusalem and some in the nearby Judean desert where Oren Gutfeld is presently unearthing his tunnel.
Here we see a treasure which starts berosh.
Professor Hanan Eshel, a leading expert on the copper scroll.
I believe that the treasure mentioned in the copper scroll are dealing with the tabernacle. They're speaking with the treasures that are described in Leviticus and Number. Those are in Exodus. Those are the treasure that Moses and Bezalel were doing in the desert after the Exodus. We have a very detailed description of where they were hidden, and we have a detailed description of how big they were. We're speaking here about an enormous amount of silver and gold and some vessels which are mentioned in the rabbinic literature as vessels that had to do with the temple.
Tunnels such as this have been found nowhere else in all of Israel. The work is tedious, the mission daunting, but Gutfeld is resolute. He will not be deterred in his search for a meaningful light at the end of the tunnel.
We're excavating in a tunnel that we started to dig only yesterday. This is the eastern tunnel of 2 tunnels that we found here previously. The western one was we dug in the past, and now we're going to check this tunnel to see if it's going down like the other one.
The western tunnel, which took 4 years to unearth, is located just 200 meters from the one in which Gutfeld is presently digging. Its entrance has been temporarily covered to prevent flooding from the adjoining creek bed, or wadi. The tunnel descends at a perfect 35 degrees for 130 meters, deep into the very bowels of Mount Harkania. Gutfeld's descent is precarious at best. Occasionally, niches can be found which held oil lamps for those who dug the tunnel over 2,500 years ago.
We are halfway in the tunnel, and during the excavation at this point, we found a few things.
Among the things found were these goat bones, Subsequent carbon-14 testing dated the bones to 590 BC, very close to the end of the First Temple period.
The First Temple period is most notably associated with the first of 3 temples that would eventually be built on Mount Moriah behind me. In our story of the Ark, this first temple will serve as its eventual resting place. But before that can happen, the children of Israel must make it to Canaan. Moses was told to build a portable sanctuary, one that would ultimately be used in a torrid 40-year trek through the barren wilderness.
As the journey progresses, the tabernacle will be central to the life of the Israelites. It will be overseen by priests from the tribe of Levi and serve as the home to the ark when it's not in transit. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Every man of the children of Israel shall camp around the tabernacle, some distance from it, each man under his standard with the banner of his father's house. It was here, in a desert encampment, that the Israelites were transformed from a shapeless mass of people into a nation whose progress would be prescribed down to the minutest detail. The covenant was taking form.
While the digging continues in Gutfeld's eastern tunnel, we descend even further into the western tunnel. 4 years of digging, inch by inch, hoping upon hope. What would be found?
We are in the end of the tunnel. It's really a mystery why they did such a huge project, a huge tunnel, for nothing. It's kind of a dead end. We tried to dig inside the rock, but we understood that it's a natural rock. So it remained a mystery, really an enigma.
Gutfeld is not alone in the search for desert treasure. Ground-penetrating radar has recently been used here at nearby Qumran in the search for additional Dead Sea Scrolls. This technique will also be used by Gutfeld in his quest to solve the mystery of the Western Tunnel.
There is little consensus as to the exact route the Israelites traveled. As for the grumbling, it was deafening. You have brought us out into this desert to starve us to death. To which from heaven was heard, At twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. And so it was. Manna by day, a bread-like substance, and quail by night. When Moses strikes a rock with his staff, water springs forth. Sadly, Moses' ultimate dream will never be realized. In his final days, he will at last see the Jordan Valley from a distance, but his feet will never touch the Promised Land. In his dying moments, Moses will hear the voice of God one last time.
Moshe,
This is the land which I will give unto thy seed.
This is really just the beginning of this story, this powerful story. There's so much more to come that we're going to bring you.
In our 3-part series, but also if you want more on this topic, if you love archaeology, if you love the thought of getting deep in tunnels and finding hidden treasure, we have a full DVD special all about Jehovah's treasure that's available to you through our website.
And it's not fake news, you know, and it's not a movie. It's actually going to the places and talking to experts there. It's fascinating, and it's yours for the asking. There's a donation to help us do what we do, and I want to thank you for that.
And we thank you for watching this 3-part series. Again, I just want to let you know that DVD that we have, if you have a Sunday school class, even teenagers would love this stuff. I love this stuff, and I'm far from being a teenager. But it's fascinating. It's
not too far.
Thank you. That's why you're my favorite. I love you too. But there's so much more that we have on that DVD, and it's just wonderful. And we have 2 more weeks of this special mini-series coming up.
Yeah, we're not done yet. Thank you for taking us to the Bible world. It's a real world, a real place, and we're thrilled to have the opportunity to take you there. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Invite somebody to join us next week. We leave you with a song from our founder, Zola Levitt.
And we leave you with a word from our founder, God. How about that? Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim.
Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
You died for us in Israel. For us, your blood was outpoured. Sheep have gone astray, everyone to his own way, but you alone took the blame, and now we ask in your holy name, for we like sheep have gone astray, to his own way, but you alone took the blame, and now we ask in your holy name.
Join us right now for additional content that is only available on our social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Visit our website, levitt.com, for the current and past programs, the television schedule, tour information, and our free monthly newsletter, which is full of insightful articles and news commentary. View it online, or we can ship it directly to your mailbox every month. Also on our website is the online store. There, you can order this week's resource, or you can always give us a call at 1-800-WONDERS. Your donations to Our Jewish Roots help us to support these organizations as they bless Israel. Please remember we depend on tax-deductible donations from viewers like you. This has been a paid program brought to you by Zola Levitt Ministry.